In the past, we've looked at a few different CD series that were released in Japan. I've just recently obtained 12 of 14 CDs that were released in a series in 1990. So we're going to have a look at those CDs in a moment and compare them to the earlier series that came out. But just to refresh your memory, or maybe for the first time, if you haven't seen my earlier videos on CDs, the first CD series that came out was the 50th anniversary series, which came out in '85. May '85 in some cases, and then June '85 in other cases. This is the Rocker CD, which was the first one to come out. And all of these CDs, there were 10 in this series, by the way, they all had this, what was called a fold under obi design, so-called because it folded under the lid so it didn't fall off. And the CDs used this blue lettering with the second RCA logo design. Then, a couple of years later, we got the RCA Popular CD 2500 series. This 2500 refers to the price, 2,500 yen. This is the first time I've shown this one because I've just recently got it. Elvis is back. One of the good things about the old CDs is they often had artwork on the back, which was fairly similar to the old LP back covers. Then in 1987 we got another series, not too many CDs in this, actually I think there were quite a few, maybe 10. The 70, what's it called again? 10 years after, that's right. So 10 years after Elvis died. And here is an example, the Memphis record. You'll see by now that the obi is a standard design, or what came to be the standard design. When you buy Japanese CDs, if you buy them used, you might find that the obi is still stuck to the outside of the jewel case. You might be thinking, well, that's maybe somebody's done that on purpose. But in actual fact, it was the record company that did that, and I'll show you how they did it. If you look on the back of this obi here, just here and here, you can see sort of a yellowish blob, top and bottom. And this is some kind of glue that they used at the record company just to stick it to the obi. They tend to fall off fairly easily, but you're always stuck with this sort of plasticky glue. It's not sticky or anything, but it doesn't fall off. Anyway, let's move on to that 1990 series. And the first 10 CDs in this 1990 series were the same as the 10 which were released in 1985. However, there were differences in the matrix numbers, which I'll come on to in a minute. I also want to look at when the Japanese CDs were released, as opposed to when the American releases came out. Which ones came first? So here we go then. This is the 1990 series Rocker. It's the first one. All of the CDs in this series had this peachy colored obi design with a little flash logo at the top. And on the back you have the track listing and then the flash logo design on the right. This particular CD has the same matrix number as the original one from 1985. The catalog numbers have changed, but the matrix numbers on the disc itself, you know, in the middle around the center of the disc, it's the same one. So it's likely that the two discs sound exactly the same. Then the next album in the series was Elvis Presley. There is the back. You do get different colors on the left side there, but there's otherwise no variation in the design. Now this one, Elvis Presley, and the next 4 in the series, all 50s albums, they actually have new matrix numbers, different to the original ones from 1985. I've never actually sat down and compared them, but it's possible that they do sound slightly different. Maybe one of these days I'll compare them. The next one was Elvis. All the 50s titles are in mono, and none of the CDs in this series have any bonus tracks. The next one was Golden Records, which I don't have in this series, but just to show you the 85 version. And the last 50s one for now is Gold Records Volume 2. A mere 10 tracks on a CD. In fact, let's have a look at what these look like on the inside. There you go. This is what I was saying about the OB. I'm not touching it, obviously, but it's stuck to the case. The packaging, the artwork was exactly the same as the 85 version. Well, almost the same. You just basically get a fold-out insert like that. So this side here on the right, Elvis CDs, that's different to the first version. And then the insert, the Japanese insert, is exactly the same as the one from 85. Liner notes on one side and English lyrics on the other. So just taking a moment to look at the release dates of these CDs, and the first 5 that we've looked at there, they all came out in May 85 in Japan, but the equivalent American mono pressings all came out in November 84. I realize that some of the albums, like Elvis Presley, were released by mistake in electronically reprocessed stereo. So the American versions seemed to have been released a little bit earlier than the Japanese ones. Okay, so let's go back to this Flash series. The next one was That's the Way It Is. So That's the Way It Is initially came out in June 85 in Japan, but it wasn't released in America until August. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that right. No, May 92 on the MoFi release. I think it was a gold CD. But that's a heck of a long delay, isn't it? I'm not sure why they would take so long to release that CD in America. And it's a similar story with the next one, which is On Stage. So what we're looking at now is 1990 releases. And you can actually tell with Japanese releases when they were released just by looking at the artwork. So just here in the bottom corner, it says 93/21, and that's the actual release date of this CD. But the original one came out in June 85. Whereas in America, it didn't come out until August 91. Now, as far as the American release dates go, I'm getting them all from this book here, Elvis for CD Fans Only, which has been a great little resource for preparing this video. Okay, we've got a few more to go, and then we'll get onto the new releases in this series. Elvis in Person. That one came out in America also later in October 92. The Japanese were also first to release Madison Square Garden. Again, June 85. This one is March 1990. In America, it came out in April 92. So there's just one more CD in the original 50th anniversary series, and that was Blue Hawaii. I only have the original one here. I don't have the 1990 version. And that one too came out later in America than Japan. It came out in April 88. Okay, so finally we've got 4 titles in this Flash series that were new releases for Japan. The first one was Promised Land. The second one was Elvis Presley Boulevard. And by this point, they weren't using those inserts anymore. They were making actual booklets. But the idea was the same. Japanese notes and English lyrics. And there's even a little bit of recording data in here as well in English. So Promised Land came out in April 89 in America, and Boulevard came out in April 88, so slightly earlier than the Japanese versions. And we just have 2 more for LP fans only. Again, that was a little bit earlier in America than Japan. That one came out in April 89. And then finally, last but not least, A Date with Elvis. This one came out in America in January 89. So most of the CDs came out initially in America, but interestingly, the live albums, plus Blue Hawaii, came out earlier here. I'm surprised they took so long to release Blue Hawaii in particular, but perhaps it does just show how much the live albums were liked by the Japanese fans, because they were among the first albums to be released on CD. And even the Memphis Live album was also released fairly quickly in CD or on CD. Okay, I think that just about wraps it up for this video. Any questions, drop them in the comment section below. But thanks for watching. See you next time. Cheers.